Hello, and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And we have more fantasy football content. And what did we learn from last week? We are not God. We
Not
cannot
quite.
predict the future. So hopefully, we'll have just as much fun and we'll do a little bit better at predicting this week. So, Tim, are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's run it.
Let's do it. Let's review how we did week 4. And
We have to.
well, I think it's important to cover both
It's
our
fair.
hits
It's
and our
only
misses.
fair.
And we had 5 misses, fair to say. I'll run through them quickly. Trevor Lawrence fumbled the ball 4 times en route to 5.66
The
points.
team played pretty well.
Yeah, we told you to start him. Carson Wentz had 7.3 points. We told you to sit him. 2 interceptions. Carson Wentz has looked worse and worse each week.
That was
Um,
kind of as much of a lock of a sit as there can be.
Khalil Herbert didn't do bad, 11.1
Yeah,
points, 19 carries, 77 yards. But
nothing
Josh,
special
but
though.
Josh Jacobs, my God,
Where did he come from?
28 carries, 144 yards, 2 touchdowns,
I guess that's
and
what it takes
five
for the Raiders to
catches
get their
on
first
six
win of the season.
targets for 31 yards, 34.5 fantasy points. So if you listen to us on that one, we're sorry.
My bad.
Yeah, and Amari Cooper, again, 1.9 points, 1 catch on 4 targets for 9 yards. The
That
Falcons,
that passing game just was not doing well that game at
yeah,
all.
the
It wasn't
Falcons
really a
just
Amari Cooper thing.
dedicated,
It was just the Browns.
to stopping him, and they did that. And Darnell Mooney, who entered the week with 6.7 points, doubles his season total in just 1 week, 13.4
Didn't help
fantasy
him win.
points. No, didn't help him win. The Bears still stink. Justin Fields still stinks. Darnell Mooney still
Oh,
stinks,
I
and
shouldn't have got you going.
I will absolutely stand by that. But now that we've covered our absolute misses from last week, let's get into this week. So let's do it with Tim. I'll let you open it up with our quarterback to start.
All right. Starting off here at our start position for quarterback, we have Sir Thomas Brady. And it's a very interesting situation there in the Buccaneers organization. They did have a little bit of an iffy showing until they kind of ended up coming back and making at least acceptable loss against the Chiefs, putting up 31 points. But he should be in a much better situation now with both Evans and Godwin back. And with those guys
Wow.
back, the last game, he was 39 for 52 for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns, which finally was a more Brady-like uh, stat line that we've used to
I
see.
think we need to
Um,
redefine what Brady like means because at
I mean,
45 years old, it's funny
he's
what happens
human.
when you get Mike
He's human.
Evans and Chris Godwin back, you
Yeah,
know. And but I will say though, brighter days are ahead for Tom Brady because he
yeah.
doesn't have to worry about family anymore. Yay.
But that being said, he is facing the
Mhm.
Falcons this week, who is a defense that is, I think, susceptible to getting points put on them. So I think they're going to have a pretty good game here.
So now let's move on to our quarterback to sit. And this is a guy who's been receiving a lot of notoriety lately, and that is Jared Goff. They're playing
The
goofball with the
goofball
Lions.
himself.
The goofball himself. We talk about him a lot, but that's because he's gotten a lot of hype as a waiver
The
wire
Lions are
quarterback
quite
to
a
add.
story. The Lions have been quite a story to take a look
Yeah.
at this year in terms of expectations versus reality, and Jared Goff fits that model completely.
Yeah. I mean, 30 plus points of offense in 3 of the 4 games. And in the fourth, they threw up 24 points, I believe it was. And Jared Goff is leading the charge. Should he be added in every single league? Yes. Should it be started in this week? No, because Bill Belichick is the best coach in the NFL. He is a defensive mastermind, and he will find a way to shut down whatever game plan you have. They took Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers to
They
overtime
made him
with Bailey
stress.
Zappi at quarterback. Yeah, I
They
was
made
I
me
was
stress, and
stressing.
I'm not even a Packers fan. I went, huh?
Yeah. Imagine how I felt.
Yeah,
So
I can
I do
only
not
imagine.
have high expectations for Jared Goff. But Tim, who's our running back to start?
Starting running back this week for us is James Robinson against the Houston Texans. He's a guy that a lot of people were a little bit concerned about coming into the season, but
A
he has
little.
gotten himself, well, he has gotten
I
himself back healthy,
I
and he
completely
has,
bet against him. I
yeah,
if you had bet on running backs that had come back from Achilles injuries, you would have been like O for the century, just a big old ofer. But
he's
whoever did the
he's
surgery
breaking the
for
mold.
James Robinson like needs to do all Achilles surgeries because he has been the workhorse for Jacksonville. And last week was his only dud, but he's been great the first 3 weeks. And the Texans rank dead last in points to opposing running backs. So, and a positive game script means they should run the ball a lot because Jacksonville's look good. So, start James Robinson.
Yeah, this should be a game where he gets that you said that positive game script. He should get plenty of touches in an offense that should be running all over the place. So we'll see how they do this week.
Yeah. Our running back to sit is kind of a guy that I'm starting to take a victory lap on. Not yet, but I'm warming it up, and that's Najee Harris
Hey,
because
I'm starting to take a victory lap on that whole team.
yeah, because
They're not
you
looking like an over 500 team right now.
you and I, we very much were not in on Najee because of the efficiency of last year, and that has continued. He's only averaging 3.5 yards per carry. And what made him so viable last year was Big Ben checkdowns, and Big Ben checkdowns has been replaced by Mitch Trubisky and Kenneth Pickett. So it's not looking too hot. And he's going up against Buffalo, which is always a tough matchup. So sit Najee, which would have been unthinkable a year ago.
Yeah, and it's a situation that if you have Najee, I mean, a lot of cases it's going to be hard to have somebody to put in over him. But at the same time, this is not a positive game script for the Steelers in this one. They're facing obviously one of the best offenses and defenses in the league, and he's just not set to have a particular breakout game. But other than that, I mean, you're facing the Bills. Good luck
Yeah. Yeah. Good luck. It's not
with
going to go
in Kenny
well.
Pickett's first ever career start.
Yikes. There's a reason why the Bills entered as 14-point favorites, which is
That's
almost
a
unheard.
that's almost a little excessive.
It's almost unheard of. But
Yeah.
now let's advance to our wide receiver to start. And I'm going to show my boy some love. The next great Packer to wear 87, Robert Brooks, Jordy Nelson, and now Romeo Doubs,
I'm
who
playing well.
the Packers have had a levy of great receivers over the years with Jordy, Jennings, Driver, James Jones, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. None of them are on track to be as productive as Romeo Doubs is in his rookie season. He is for sure the wide receiver two in Green Bay, if not the wide receiver one. He's had 8 targets and a touchdown in each of his last 2 games. That role increases, that workload increases, the target share increases, and the trust in Aaron Rodgers increases, which I think is the most important part. Not every receiver, like 4 or 5 games in to your NFL career, are you getting thrown back shoulder fade routes from Aaron Rodgers? That just doesn't happen. But Aaron trusts the kid, and the kid continues to make plays. And he's been great. So start him.
You know what? He's one of the few dudes in that offense, I mean, especially in that receiving core, that Aaron Rodgers probably does trust. Because you've seen, the complete disarray at different times with a lot of the different positions. Aaron Rodgers screaming at guys to get back in different positions on the line to snap the ball, so on and so forth. But he's a guy that has played really, really well. He's showing more and more confidence with every game, which, as you said, is only going to lead to more target share and more opportunities for him to step up. And he's really met each challenge with flying colors so far. So I think he's going to continue to step up for that team.
And last but not least, who is our wide receiver to sit?
Sitting at wide receiver, we have Marquise Brown of the Arizona Cardinals against the Philadelphia Eagles. So far, this is a matchup between, well, I won't say matchup, but that combination between Hollywood Brown and Kyler that has really sparked the majority of what the Cardinals have had going for them these first couple of weeks. And in their last 3 games, he's had 11, 17, and 11 targets for those 3 games. So it's like they're looking for him early and often. But Philadelphia's defense has proven to be one of the best, not only in the NFC but in the league right now in terms of playing well at the right time. So he's going to be going up most likely against either Darius Slay or James Bradbury. Neither one of those are fantastic matchups, but as you can see, when you're that main number one guy, there's going to be a lot of attention on him, similar to how the Eagles have shut down some of those top wide receivers in these past couple of games. So if there's any week to sit him, now would kind of be the case, and it will be interesting to watch going forward with the prospect of Rondale Moore being back and more healthy, as well as D Hop coming back in these next couple of games. How his role in that offense is going to change going forward.
Don't forget Greg Dortch. He's been playing out of his
Yeah,
mind.
Greg. He actually has been playing
He's
very
been
well.
playing pretty well.
He
Like the
stepped
first
up
three
big
weeks.
into that role. But we'll see how if he's able to keep a hold on that while some of these guys come back.
Yeah, what we're banking on here is that Slay and Bradbury will not, they'll have a lot of fun covering Hollywood Brown, and they only let up 48 yards to Justin Jefferson on
We'll see
12
if they
targets in
we'll
week
see if they
two.
game plan just as well against Marquise
Mhm.
Brown. But either way, he's not set for a big week like he has in some of these past ones.
So that's all we got for week 5 of Stardom Situms. Hopefully we do a little bit better than last week, but we're just having fun with it. So if you
So we're
want to
here to find
watch,
out.
you want to watch our other fantasy content or our NFL predictions, we've been keeping up with that every single week. So we have a ton of that. We have a ton of other stuff. If you go back into the channel, a lot of other sports that we have to cover. So if you like what we do, watch more of our stuff. And until next time, like and subscribe, and we out.